Oh, hi, audience. What's up? It's Greg Sestero here to introduce you to the True Blue RiffCast, where they talk about amazing movies, bad movies, and everything in between. So you're listening to the True Blue RiffCast. Enjoy it.
Thanks, Greg. I am Jeremy, and with me, as always, is...
Hey, it's me, Dave. And are we on some kind of podcast?
Yeah, it's the True Blue RiffCast, the number one RiffTrax podcast in the world.
In the whole world.
In fact, we've been doing this now for just over a year, Dave.
Really? Has it been that long?
Yeah.
Doesn't
even feel like it.
In some ways it does. I mean, this year's been really long. It's,
Yeah, but I think there's other contributing factors to that.
Yep.
But today, we've got 3 movies to look at. Because we missed last week due to some wonderful storms and internet outages and all that fun stuff. So today we're going to be taking a look at RiffTrax Presents Assignment Outer Space with our good friends Matthew J. Elliott and Ian Potter. Also going to be taking a look at the winner of our last patron poll, Terror at Tenkiller.
Tenkiller.
And we have the latest release from RiffTrax, The Return.
A Graydon Clark joint.
Yeah, that actually has recognizable actors in it.
Yeah, Graydon Clark's in it too.
More than just one. Well, of course he is.
Yeah, he is. But he's easily recognizable to us. Showed up and be like, I'm Mr. Doughy Pasty Face Man, making a cameo.
Oh boy. Yeah, that was an interesting movie. In fact, all of these were interesting movies.
I kept expecting kids from Star Games to show up like they did at the end of Uninvited, but that never happened. We'll get to it.
We'll get to it. In a couple weeks here, we're going to have our look back at the first half of 2020 for RiffTrax. We've had a few really interesting releases so far this year.
Yeah. Run around. Oh no, it's a suburban Sasquatch.
Oh no, there's a Sasquatch loose.
It's funny because that's the sound the suburban Sasquatch makes. Run around.
Dave does it perfectly.
That's literally exactly it. It doesn't take that much effort. It's just you just got to go run around.
Oh man.
Well,
let's not waste any more time.
You mean
here.
No weekend box office?
Oh, weekend box office. I forgot. What's the box office?
I don't know. I went and I saw Wonder Woman. Oh, no, I didn't because life is terrible.
It hasn't been released yet, like everything else. I mean, we could have watched Artemis Fowl.
Isn't that on, Disney Plus?
Yes, and apparently it's terrible.
Well, of course it is.
And it's a really good thing that they released it directly to the streaming thing, I guess. I haven't watched it. I never read any of the books, obviously. I'm a little past my time for that, but
I don't know, man. It's just Artemis Fowl. It just sounds like I don't know anything about it. It just sounds like a Harry Potter ripoff.
Yeah.
It sounds like Asylum Harry Potter. It sounds like Max Magician and the Legend of the Rings. Google it.
Well, from what I've heard about the movie, you may not be too far off there. But enough of that. Let's get rolling. We got a lot to talk about.
Yeah, we do.
Our first riff we're going to talk about comes to us courtesy of RiffTrax, which they actually have a page now on RiffTrax.com. They're listed under RiffTrax.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. I'm talking about Assignment Outer Space, brought to us by Matthew J. Elliott and Ian Potter.
Our good friends.
Yes. And this movie, Oh
Uh,
boy.
uh,
There's a whole lot of nothing that happens
I
in this
was
movie.
I was talking to somebody on Facebook. I don't want to name drop, but his name is Matthew J. Elliott, and I was talking to him on Facebook, and I was like, "Man, what's the deal with this movie?" And he said that this is probably the movie that he and Ian have done, the movie where like the least amount happens. Because I got to the end, and I was like, I watched that entire movie, and I don't know what happened. So I felt the need to reach out to the Riffer, and be like, "Do you know what happened?" And he says, "No."
I kept waiting for some sort of like space creature or
No,
something
no,
to show
yes,
up.
I said that too. Oh my gosh, I kept.
Yeah.
I'll be like, okay, so they're going to be like a monster or an alien. So there's really no. I got to the end, like, so there's really not going to be an alien monster
No.
after all that.
It's just a out of control spaceship, and the engines are gonna explode, and it's gonna destroy Earth or whatever. And
Or something. Okay, so let's just go over what we know. It's year 2116. So
yeah, there's
it's
a
like
uh,
100 or so years into.
a space reporter
Yeah.
joining the crew of a ship going to a space station.
They're not going to like, and this is just 100 years in the future, they're not going to like Alpha Centauri, which would take like 100 billion years to get to. And that's just like the next solar system over. They're going to a completely different galaxy, right?
Yeah, Galaxy M12 or
Yeah.
something like that.
It's
Yeah.
something like, and not even the closest galaxy to us, which is the Andromeda Galaxy. They're going to some random unnamed galaxy. Like, when did we achieve the ability to do this? By the year 2116. So,
Well, considering this movie came out in 1960,
still not good enough. I don't know if that's really any better. I mean,
you know, that's an extra
60 years, yeah.
Yeah, I guess that's not really that much better,
Yeah,
but you know, back then they thought we were all going to be flying around in jetpacks
on the
and
moon,
all
yeah.
that stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, I
And
found out.
boy, were they wrong.
I was watching Disney Plus, and I found out that a lot of that came from like a lot of those future ideas, like the futurism of like the 50s and 60s. A lot of that came out of the mind of Walt Disney when he was building Epcot and like the City of the Future and all that garbage. That was all his
Yeah.
idea. Like the vision of the future came from Walt Disney, which is fine, but it's like, I don't know. I just think it was weird that it came out of that guy's head.
Yeah. But they go to the space station and you know, the one guy, the station commander, doesn't want the reporter to be there.
Yeah. Do you remember any of their names?
But he can interfere.
Because
I think the main character's name was Ray.
Was it?
Yeah, I think it was Ray. And then there was a girl named Lucy. She was like the botanist for the space station.
Yeah, she had a garden that wasn't really a garden. and
she like fell for the reporter. All I remember like about her is, you know, he goes to try and stop the ship. He gets trapped inside, and she's just like, I loved him.
You're like, you did?
Love has no meaning anymore. Like all this like really super serious. And then, you know, he actually makes it out okay. He lives.
Yeah. Well,
and that's the end of the movie. Like
no, but okay, look. So
really
let's go over what we
on.
knew. Like let's just go over like what we can remember from the movie, because okay, so forgive me if I'm wrong, but it's like, okay, dude wakes up, has a fight with somebody, talks to a girl, does a spacewalk, then there's cockpits, then there's more spacewalking, and then it's over.
Yep, that sounds about right.
They have like some kind of weird saucer stuff. Because like I couldn't tell you what the danger was. I can't tell you what happened in this movie. And usually Matthew J. Elliott and Ian Potter are quite good at making movie selections where you can kind of like Flight to Mars. I mean, there it is. Plot's right there in the title. Warning from space. You have those starfish aliens burping around, droopa doopa doopa doop, right? Hangar 18, where you have the dad from A Christmas Story. It's basically 9/11 was an inside job, only without the 9/11. This is the first one that they've done where like even he said it, even Matthew said it. This movie is just weird. It's just like you reach in, try to like grab something, and there's just like nothing. And it takes place in outer space.
It's the most boring movie I've seen that takes place in outer space since I watched Interstellar.
Yeah. Okay, so let me ask you this. What language was this shot in? Because I was trying to see the
Italian.
dub. Was it shot in Italian? Because sometimes
it was an Italian film.
Sometimes I'd look at the dub, and sometimes the dub would match the English lines, and sometimes it wouldn't. So I was like, this is the weirdest dub I've ever seen.
Yep, it was an Italian film.
Oh, and it was only $6.99 because I guess the file is garbage. That's what it said. It said that on RiffTrax. I was like, wow. I was wondering why it was only $7.
It actually says on here, please note, due to the low quality of the source, we're offering this riff at a lower price point.
Well, then what about Roller Gator? Why is Roller Gator $10? I have the high resolution version of Roller Gator. There's no difference.
No, not at all. I do like and somebody pointed this out to me, but in the comment section on RiffTrax.com, which I always forget there's a comment section on RiffTrax.com, somebody was basically telling them how they should riff a movie.
Oh, no. Okay, yeah, I know. Welcome back from the edit, everybody.
Yeah, Assignment Outer Space. It was a boring movie, but there were some really good riffs that I enjoyed.
You know what I really appreciated about the riff?
What's that?
Was that I really liked that they left a lot of like genuine reactions to the movie from Matthew and Ian in like like you hear like just like them laughing. I love that. Yeah,
there was a lot of good stuff and laughs had with each other in this that I really enjoyed seeing or hearing, I guess. But just within the first couple minutes, I mean, I was guffawing at this movie.
Mm-hmm.
Like just some of the lines, oh, he's been using his dictaphone. Well, he should use his finger like everyone else. Like that cracked me up so much because I'm 12, so
that's funny.
All of this, that kind of humor appeals to me. Or they were talking about the infrared radiation, and they said infrared, infra-pound, and like that really tickled me. I'm not sure why, but it did. And they're so good at doing that. They have such great wordplay. If you've never watched a riff from Matthew and Ian, the two British guys, because there's still people out there who won't watch this stuff just because it's not, Mike, Kevin, and Bill or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
These guys are a lot of fun.
Yeah, pick it up, and it's only $7. Come on, what's wrong with you?
Right, this one's cheaper. It's if you back the Kickstarter this year and you got your extra $4 gift card or whatever, you can use it towards this. You're only paying $3. Can't go wrong with that.
I agree.
I think that's about all we have for Assignment Outer Space.
I mean, there's not much more to say about it. I mean,
no, not really. Let's move on to our next VOD here. This one was voted on over on our Patreon.
I don't know why you guys did this to us.
Overwhelmingly, Terror at Tenkiller was the winner of our poll.
It makes no sense to me. It has a lot in common. Has a lot in common with the. Has a lot in common with Assignment Outer Space.
Because not a whole lot really happens. You sit there and you're like, oh,
what? That's it. That's
it.
Like, be like an hour and a half of like, okay, so we have this movie and it has like what, 5 characters.
Something like that. There's not a whole lot.
So
I mean, we got a character named Tor.
Yeah.
Which is probably the most interesting thing.
Yeah, other than that, so it opens up and I remember because I hadn't seen it in a really long time, but I started remembering stuff about it. Like, oh wait, I remember what this is. And it opens up on like probably one of the more gruesome murders on a RiffTrax VOD I've seen.
Yeah.
It's just like, it's really graphic. And do we ever really know why Tor is killing these people? Because, I mean, I think it's explained. Like, that he's reenacting something that happened in the past or some crap.
I think it's just one of those, he falls in love with a woman and then he sees them do something or somebody else does something and he's like, oh, you're not pure anymore. I mean, that's what it seems to be. Like, yeah. He kills another person because he thinks she's corrupting the main character. So,
which one was that? Was that the friend?
Yeah. Jana or whatever.
Has a movie with the guy named Tor and Jana. It's like,
yeah, it's.
But anyway, so there's a murder that happens, and then we cut to this community swimming pool where this woman is swimming laps, and her boyfriend comes in and says, "I'm a dickhead," and she's like, "You're a dickhead. I'm gonna go change now." Right? So then we have this shower scene, and her friend Jenna comes in, and it's being like, I'm going to do something totally inappropriate while you're in the shower. Right? They scare you or something.
I'm going to scare the crap out of you, and then we're going to use that as an excuse to show your boobs and have some great awkward riffing from Bill.
Yeah.
About, look at that high-powered shower nozzle there. That's definitely the most important thing in this scene to stare at. I'm a happily married man, and I'm just looking at that shower nozzle.
So anyway, and then it's like cuts to be like, boy, your boyfriend's a jerk. I know my boyfriend's a jerk. I don't know what I'm going to do about it. Like, well... we should go up to, and then they go out there and their boyfriend is there. Then she watches him fight with the boyfriend. And it's just like, break up with this guy.
They go up to Jana's summer home at Lake Tenkiller. Tenkiller, not Tenkiller.
They might as well call it Camp Crystal Lake.
Especially with the last shot of this movie. It's very similar to...
I have a very interesting fun fact about that, but we'll get to it.
But they go up there. They get a summer job at a
gas station,
/ restaurant or whatever, where the person who got murdered in the opening scene used to work. Mm-hmm. They meet Tor there, or right after they get up there. Shortly after, Tor kills one of the other waitresses in the hot tub.
Yeah. Okay. That's such a weird scene. Like where he's like, here I am, right, and then just like gets into the hot tub like fully clothed and just murders this girl. And I was just like,
doesn't he kill like the boss happened. Too?
I don't remember.
Like, he sees the boss spying on the two main characters in their cabin, and he kills them. And then they start getting threatening.
Phone calls,
threatening calls like on the answering machine, and they think it's just
they think it's the boyfriend, and then like
or whatever.
And then she acts like she normally does to be like, Hello? Is this my boyfriend? You need to stop it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm getting very mad at you.
And then Tor kills Jana.
Jana, yeah, I'm not really sure why. And then she's like, wasn't she washing her hair in the sink?
Yeah, she was washing her hair, and he comes up and like slowly stabs her in the back.
Yeah.
And it kind of looked more like something out of This Is Hormel than.
Okay. Okay. But before we get to the final chase scene, because I guess they're in a boat. But
Yeah.
several times through the course of this movie, there's this dock that they use a lot in the movie, and I guess it's a place where you could like go out and relax, I guess, and swim in like just like right off like in this lake, but you don't want to go out and swim in like the nice part of the lake. Jana and main character, whatever her name is, they just swim right there by this dock. And I don't know why anybody would swim right there. It's just like, okay, you remember the pool in House on Sorority Row? It's like the lake. It's like, I mean, like there's not a bunch of like garbage and mold and crap in it, but it does look like you would come up out of there. I think it's like the lake version of that pool where you'd come up and you'd just be like covered in like leeches.
Yeah.
It doesn't look like a very inviting place to go swimming, but they swim like I think 3 or 4 times right there. Like, and there's a lot happens on that dock, and it's just like the most unappealing thing you can think of, and it's really gross.
Yeah, it is. It's not like a Great Lake, like to swim in.
Yeah,
at least not that area.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure the lake is beautiful, but also there's a guy on a boat that they keep cutting to. There's a shot in Crater Lake Monster where they keep shooting to a silhouetted boat, and it's a guy who ended up being a U.S. senator. It was out on the boat. Then the Crater Lake Monster comes up and gets him, but they keep cutting to a shot in this movie of a shot that looks exactly like that. But it never pays off. You don't know why they keep cutting to this guy in a silhouette on a boat. So anyway, so Tor tracks main character girl down, and and they have their big confrontation on the lake, and he allegedly dies, and then last shot of the movie is him coming up like Friday the 13th.
Yeah, freeze frame.
Yeah, freeze frame. Now, fun fact. This is the fun fact I was speaking of. Is that I was like, that seems familiar. I thought this happened at the end of Silent Rage. So I went back and I looked, and it's the same thing. The exact same thing happens. The murderer in Silent Rage comes up out of the water, like in that exact same pose. Like, I thought it was the same shot. I was like, that happens in this movie? I thought it happened in Silent Rage. It happens in both.
Huh.
It's so
interesting.
Yeah. Well, maybe interesting is the wrong word. It's like, I don't know, man. But Terror Tenkiller, a lot. The riff is fine. We all love pancakes, but the movie's just a slog, man. It's just death.
Speaking of movies that are slogs, let's talk about The Return from Graydon Clark.
Graydon Clark. Oh, this is, well, you know what? Out of the 3 movies that we talked about tonight, I think The Return is the best? Question mark?
That's damning praise, though.
Yeah, I mean, I would choose The Return over Assignment Outer Space and Terror at Tenkiller. This is the most star-studded we've ever seen from a Graydon Clark movie. Now, for those of you, for those of you who don't know, Graydon Clark, he directed Final Justice, Angel's Revenge, Star Games, Uninvited, and Dark Future. You look at something like Star Games and Uninvited, okay, and I guess to a lesser extent, Angel's Revenge. And these Graydon Clark movies they're crazy. They're just insane.
Yeah. Especially Star Games.
Yeah, Star Games is, that was his last movie, and it starred his kids.
Those poor kids.
I may not have seen Terminator, and I may not have seen Blair Witch. I haven't seen The Godfather, American Beauty, but damn it, I've seen all the Graydon Clark movies. Can't say that I'm not a film connoisseur. But
you've never watched Terminator?
No, I've never seen Terminator. Never seen any of them.
Interesting.
But I'm gonna see.
I don't have an actual comment to that. It's just, it's just
I'm gonna see if I can go my whole life without seeing those movies. But what were we talking about? Graydon Clark, right? Yeah. The Return stars one of the stars of the ensemble movie Ice Cream Man.
Jan Michael Vincent.
Okay, so then we have Sybil Shepherd. If you can believe it.
No, I can't believe
Martin Landau.
What?
Raymond Burr from Bride of the Gorilla. His most famous role.
Raymond Burr, yeah, I could definitely see Raymond Burr.
First when I saw him, I was like, it's Orson Welles. Oh, wait, it's Raymond Burr.
That's Raymond Burr. Silly boy.
I don't think has RiffTrax done any Orson Welles movies? They're all kind of boring.
Yeah, I don't think so.
Right. But anyway, so The Return starts off in great Graydon Clark fashion with two kids standing in the middle of the road looking at the sky.
In Little Creek, New Mexico, of all places.
But Jan Michael Vincent and Sybil Shepherd as little children stand up and looking at this UFO, and then the UFO F's off. And then a bunch of other stuff happens. We watch Sybil Shepherd driving around a lot.
A lot. Staple of bad movies.
Yeah, it's like
watching people drive.
It's like pad time. It's like, but Manos and the God Monster of Indian Flats. Birdemic. What else? But all this driving. But I'm not sure what the movie was trying to do. So then, I guess 20 years later, you have Jan Michael Vincent as this drunk cop, and it opens with him, the 20 years later opening part. He's chasing a bunch of, I guess, rich kids, who are out joyriding. And so he's finally able to get them to stop. And he goes there to be like, license and registration. And then the rich guy's like, oh, I'm a rich guy. Why don't you just let me go? And then he spits beer in his face. Jan and Michael Vincent's like, everyone out of the car. And he pulls his gun on them, right? Keep in mind, everybody in this scene is drunk.
Probably Jan Michael Vincent, too.
Yeah. So everybody gets out of the car, and Jan Michael Vincent shoots the radio. Like, I'm getting awful tired of that noise. Like, what are you crazy? What's my pa going to say? Right? Then Martin Landau shows up, and he is like, okay, everybody, all this property damage, it's going to be fine. Everybody here is drunk. Let's all go home. This is like at 8 a.m.
Yeah.
So then we move on to let's see. I'm going to be honest. I really don't know what happened in this movie. I mean, it's got a
There's-
lot. There's a lot of that going on. I think the most coherent of the three movies we've watched that we've talked about tonight, the most coherent one is Tenkiller.
Yeah.
Because Assignment Outer Space, weird space movie where there's some spacewalking and no aliens. That's like the second most comprehensible. This one, I think, well, it is definitely the best movie, but I think a lot of it's got to do with how the movie looks and how it's presented.
Yeah, because this actually looks like a
real
well-produced movie.
Yeah, and it has movie stars. It has I was able to sit down and watch it, but the plot is just incomprehensible. I could not tell you what happens.
There's a lot of mutilations of cows.
Yeah.
The sheriff, Jan Michael Vincent, Wayne, in this movie is trying to figure out what's going on. He doesn't have a whole lot of leads.
Mm-hmm.
Sybil Shepherd shows up, and she's a geologist from California, and they're trying to figure out what's happening with the cow mutilations. They know they have some sort of unknown bond with each other. And turns out they were the kids from the beginning of the movie.
Yeah. I knew
who saw
that,
the UFO, and they find this hermit, crazy old prospector hermit, out in the woods.
Yeah, he's a character actor, man. I looked him up because I've seen him in lots of stuff.
Yeah, and he thinks he's on a mission from the aliens because he saw them the same day that the kids did, and he's got like this little tiny lightsaber knife, and he's using it to kill the cattle for the aliens, and he kills some people. And I think,
doesn't he kill Graydon Clark?
Yes, I'm pretty sure that's the one guy that he kills. That Wayne and the other guy going around with him trying to dunk his donut into a can of Budweiser, which is gross. And he tries to kill Jennifer, but the knife doesn't do anything. It doesn't harm her at all.
And that's because she was one of the kids standing out in the middle of the road.
Yeah. The whole thing turns out that it was just an experiment by the aliens. And the end.
It just crashes to a halt.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not a great film, obviously.
No, I mean, it's definitely the best of the night, like I've said,
oh yeah, out of the three,
out of the three, I would watch that again. But I mean, Graydon Clark hadn't. I think before this he had made like Satan's Cheerleaders or something. Maybe he was trying to go all legit and trying to be like maybe have Hollywood take you seriously or some garbage like that. And then when that didn't happen, well, I guess I better make Uninvited, where a cat barfs up another cat. I'll make an incomprehensibly convoluted science fiction movie where we have a clown flying a spaceship. So
yeah.
Anyway.
But for a man who prides himself on making movies on the cheap, this one actually looked.
This one actually does look like it was a real. It does look like it could have played in the movie theater in 1980. I'll give it that.
Even though it didn't, it went straight to video and TV.
Yeah, really?
Yeah.
That's too bad. All that star power.
So much for that.
Jan Michael Vincent and Sybil Shepherd, Martin Landau.
Yep.
Should have had more property damage in it, Graydon.
But yeah, it's another really strong riff. I mean, if you can stand watching the source material, And if you
I'll tell
can
you-
watch Terra Tenkiller,
Yeah, if
you
you could
can
watch.
make it through
Okay,
this
look.
one.
Yeah, hey, look. Out of the 3 tonight, I'd say get the return. I mean, get them all, but I don't know, man.
Obviously.
It's not Suburban Sasquatch.
Or Lovely
Run
but
a-
Deadly.
Or Velvet
Run
Smooth.
around.
Run.
That's about all we got for the True Blue Riffcast tonight. We are going to have another poll coming up on the Patreon. It's patreon.com/trueblueriffcast. And this time it's going to be the loser of the head-to-head with Terra Tenkiller, Dinosaurus. And that's going to be going up against The Wizard. So look for that.
The Wizard starring Fred
shortly after this comes out.
Savage.
Yeah, Fred Savage.
And
Super
Mario
the
Brothers
commercial
3.
for Super Mario Brothers 3.
He touched my breasts.
Oh my God. Yes, that I forgot all about that until the riff came out.
Yeah,
But we'll talk about that eventually.
Yeah.
Maybe it'll be our next episode, maybe not. It'll either be that or Dinosaurus. So that's going to be your job to tell us what to watch. Once again, that will be at patreon.com/trueblueriffcast. I'll be posting a link when that poll goes live on the True Blue RiffTrax fan page on Facebook, and also on the Twitter for the podcast at TBRiffCast. Until then, guys, I'm Jeremy. You can find all of our episodes at trueblueriffcast.com or on any of the major podcast platforms. You can send me emails, Jeremy at trueblueriffcast.com, and you can follow the podcast at TBRiffcast on Twitter.
Awesome. And I'm Dave, and thanks for hanging out tonight, guys. Appreciate it.
We'll see you guys next time on the True Blue Riffcast.
See ya. Bye.
Goodbye.